today we're talking about something super cool, RPGs. You know those games where you get to be the hero, explore amazing worlds, and go on crazy adventures? Well, I've put together a list of 20 RPGs that every gamer should play at least once. These games are so good they'll make you laugh, cry, and maybe even forget to eat dinner because you're so hooked. Whether you love fighting monsters, solving puzzles, or just getting lost in a great story, this list has something for everyone. So let's jump in and check out these awesome games. Dragon Age Origins. This one's a classic. Like, if you love RPGs, you have to try it. It's made by BioWare, back when they were making some of the best games out there. The story is that you're this hero called a Grey Warden, and your job is to save the world from these creepy monsters called Darkspawn. They're being led by this massive, evil dragon, and yeah, it's as epic as it sounds. What's cool is you get to choose your character's race and background. Like, you can be an elf, a dwarf, or a human, and that actually changes how the story goes. People will treat you differently, and your intro to the game is totally unique depending on what you pick. It's awesome. The best part though, the companions. Oh man, they're so good. There's Alistair, who's this funny guy but also kind of awkward. Morrigan, who's like this sarcastic witch who always has something to say, and even a dog you can bring along. Yep, a dog. They all feel like real people, and you can talk to them, argue with them, or even romance some of them. The combat is kind of old school. You can pause and plan your moves or just fight your way through. It's not super flashy, but it works. The choices you make are what really make this game shine. Like, your decisions matter so much. You can save someone or let them die, and that changes how the story plays out. It's wild. Yeah, the graphics are a bit dated now, and the combat can feel a little clunky, but honestly, none of that matters because the story, the characters, and the choices just pull you in. If you've never played it, you're missing out. It's one of those games that sticks with you long after you're done. Give it a shot, you won't regret it. Wasteland 3. If you like RPGs with tons of freedom and crazy decisions, this is your game. It's set in a post-apocalyptic Colorado that's cold, snowy, and absolutely chaotic. You play as the last survivors of this group called the Desert Rangers, and your job is to save your people by working with or against some pretty shady factions. What makes Wasteland 3 so cool is how much control you have over everything. You're constantly making choices, and they're not just like pick A or B. It's messy. You'll make deals, betray people, and decide who lives and dies, and all of it changes how the game plays out. Like, you might work with a faction and later on they turn around and stab you in the back, or maybe you do that to them. It's nuts. The characters are a big highlight too. Your squad is fully customizable. You pick their skills, their looks, even their quirks, like being a total psycho or having amazing luck. Plus, you meet all these weird, unforgettable NPCs. There's one mission with a cult that worships Ronald Reagan. Yes, you read that right. It's hilarious and kinda terrifying at the same time.
Communist. Communist. Communist.
The combat is turn-based, so you have to think through every move. Do you take cover, go for a risky shot, or use one of your squad's crazy abilities? It's super satisfying when you pull off a perfect strategy. Oh, and you can play co-op too, so you and a friend can mess up the world together. If you love RPGs with deep choices, wild characters, and a world that feels alive and absolutely insane, Wasteland 3 is 100% worth playing. It's like Fallout's scrappy, chaotic cousin, and honestly, it's awesome. Give it a shot, you'll have a blast. Neverwinter Nights. This is like the granddaddy of RPGs, if you're into that old school Dungeons and Dragons kind of vibe. Released way back in 2002 by BioWare. This game was the thing for people who loved deep stories and full-on customization. The story kicks off in the city of Neverwinter, obviously, and things are not great. There's this horrible plague, shady political stuff going on, and all kinds of monsters just waiting to ruin your day. You play as a custom character, so you pick everything. Your class, race, abilities, all that good stuff. Want to be a sneaky rogue? Cool. A fireball throwing wizard? Go for it. You make the hero you want to be, and it's so satisfying. The gameplay is classic RPG with real-time combat where you can pause and plan your moves. It's based on D&D rules, so if you're into rolling dice and calculating stats, this game will make you feel right at home. But don't worry, even if you're not a D&D expert, the game eases you into it. What makes Neverwinter Nights so special is the freedom it gives you. The main campaign is solid, with twists and turns, but the real magic? The custom content. The game comes with this toolset where players could build their own adventures. People went crazy with this, creating entire new stories and worlds to explore. It's like having endless DLCs made by other players. And oh, multiplayer? You could play online with friends or even join player-made servers that felt like living, breathing D&D campaigns. Sure, it's an older game, so the graphics are a bit rough now, but honestly, it doesn't even matter. The writing, the atmosphere, and the endless replayability make it worth it. If you're someone who loves diving deep into a world where your choices matter, and you can roleplay your heart out, Neverwinter Nights is a must-play. It's like stepping into a piece of RPG history, and it still holds up in its own way. The Tyranny. This one's so different, and that's why it's so cool. It's an RPG from Obsidian, and instead of playing the hero who saves the day, you're working for the bad guys. Like, the world is already conquered by this tyrant named Kairos, and you're one of their top enforcers called a Fate Binder. It's such a refreshing twist because you're not here to stop evil, you're part of it. The story is what makes this game shine. You're basically dropped into this power struggle between factions that don't trust each other, and it's up to you to keep things in line, or not. You can side with one group, pit them against each other, or even go rogue and carve your own path. And the choices? They're insane. Like, the game really pushes you to make tough calls that actually shape the world. There's no clear good or bad option, just a lot of morally gray stuff. It's one of those games where you'll stop and think, am I really about to do this? The combat is in real time with pause, so you can strategize your attacks, and it's got a good mix of abilities and party management. Speaking of your party, the companions are awesome. They're not just there to back you up, they have their own opinions about your choices. If they don't like what you're doing, they'll let you know. You might even end up fighting them if things get heated. It's intense.
You lie, cheat, and steal, twisting everything around you for your bottomless ambition.
What's really cool is the setting. It's not your typical medieval fantasy world. It feels darker and more brutal, like everything is designed to remind you that Kairos is in control. The magic system is super unique too. You can create your own spells by combining different runes, which gives you so much freedom to play how you want. If you're tired of games where you're the shiny hero and want something darker and more complex, Tyranny is perfect. It's not super long, but the replayability is off the charts because of all the different choices you can make. It's one of those games that sticks with you because it's just so bold and different. Definitely give it a shot.
As the final conquest draws near,
Disco Elysium.
This was really good work.
Disco Elysium. Where do I even start? This game is not like anything else out there. It's an RPG, sure, but there's no combat, no swords, no magic. It's all about the choices you make and how you deal with the mess that is your character's life. And trust me, it's a mess. You play as a detective who wakes up in a trash hotel room with no memory of who he is or what he's doing there. All you know is there's a murder to solve. But the real mystery? It's you. Like, you're piecing yourself back together while trying to figure out what's going on in this gritty, broken down city called Revachol. It's got this bleak, almost depressing vibe, but man, the writing makes it feel so alive. And that's the thing, the writing is phenomenal. Every line feels like it was written by a poet or someone who's just way too good at their job. The game throws you into these deep, weird, and sometimes hilarious conversations with people, and the dialogue options, oh, they're wild. You can be super smart, a complete idiot, or just the most chaotic person ever. The game doesn't hold your hand, and it's not afraid to let you fail in spectacular ways.
The door does not care.
What's really unique is how your skills work. They're like voices in your head, and they're constantly talking to you. Got high perception? You'll notice tiny details. Pump points into drama? You'll lie like a pro or just act like a total weirdo. But those same skills can backfire. Like, if your empathy is too high, you might get overwhelmed by people's problems. It's crazy how much personality the game gives to even the mechanics. The story is super deep, tackling politics, philosophy, and the struggles of life. But it's not preachy, it's raw and honest. One moment you're having this deep existential crisis, and the next you're laughing at some ridiculous thing you said. It's all over the place in the best way. If you're into games where every decision matters, where the story is the star, and where the world feels like it's pulling you in 100 directions, Disco Elysium is a must play. It's not for everyone, it's slow, there's a lot of reading, and it's more about the journey than the destination, but oh man, if it clicks for you, it's the kind of game you'll think about long after you're done. Absolute masterpiece. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I know I talk a lot about Witcher 3, but man, it's just one of those games that feels like it was made with so much care. You play as Geralt, this grizzled monster hunter who's seen it all. He's looking for Ciri, a girl he's basically raised, who's on the run from these creepy ghostly knights called the Wild Hunt. It's not just a straightforward save the world kind of thing though. It's messy, people lie, betray you, and sometimes there's no good solution to a problem. The world is insane, it's massive, but not in a look how big our map is kind of way. Every place feels alive. You'll wander into a random village and people will be talking about their problems, like how a monster's been attacking their livestock, or there's a curse on their land, and the side quests? They're not throwaways. They're like actual stories with twists and choices that stick with you. One minute you're helping someone, and the next you're realizing you might have made everything worse. It's that kind of game. The combat's good, nothing groundbreaking, but it makes you think. You've got to prep for big fights, like reading up on monsters and using the right tools. It's not just about charging in. Oh, and you've got magic too. Not crazy overpowered stuff, but just enough to feel useful in a fight. The best part though is the characters. Geralt is this no-nonsense guy, but he's not some boring tough dude. He's got a dry sense of humor, and you can tell he cares about the people around him, even if he pretends not to. Then there's Ciri, who's strong but still feels human, and Yennefer, who's complicated in the best way. Even the smaller characters, like the Bloody Baron, have these moments where you're like, wow, this is heavy. It's a long game, and yeah, it can feel a bit overwhelming at times with all the quests and stuff, but it's worth it. It's not perfect, but it's one of those games where once you're done, you'll think about it for a long time after. If you like RPGs and stories with actual depth, you should check it out. It's really something special. Road 96. This one's different. It's not your usual RPG, it's more like an interactive road trip where every choice you make shapes the journey. You're playing as a runaway teenager trying to escape a fictional country that's teetering on the edge of chaos. The goal? Cross the border to freedom, but how you get there? That's entirely up to you. The whole game is split into these little stories, almost like episodes, and you meet all these random people along the way. Some are friendly, some are sketchy, and some are just straight up weird. You might hitchhike with a trucker, stumble into a convenience store robbery, or end up chatting politics with someone who has very strong opinions. Every character feels unique, and you slowly piece together their stories as you play. It's cool how the game makes you care about these strangers you just met. The choices you make are the core of the game. Like, do you help someone in trouble or keep moving because you don't want to risk getting caught? Do you spend your last few bucks on food or save it for a bus ticket? The decisions can feel small in the moment, but they add up and affect how the story plays out. And it's not just about you. There's this bigger political backdrop, and your actions can even influence the future of the country. Visually, it's got this indie stylized look that works really well. It's not super realistic, but it fits the vibe perfectly. And the soundtrack, oh man, it's so good. It's full of chill, road trip wavy songs that just make you want to sit back and take it all in. One of the coolest parts is how unpredictable it is. No two playthroughs are the same because the game mixes up the events and characters every time. So even if you finish it once, you'll probably want to go back and see what you missed or make different choices. It's not a super long game, and it's not for everyone. If you're into action-packed stuff, this isn't it. But if you like games that are more about the journey, about the choices you make and the stories you uncover along the way, Road 96 is a really unique experience. It's one of those games that just sticks with you, especially if you've ever dreamed about hitting the road and seeing where it takes you. So definitely worth checking out.
Try something, Mr. President. If they do, I'll crush them once and for all.
Baldur's Gate 3. If you're even a little into RPGs, it's one of those games you have to try. It's like the perfect mix of deep storytelling, insane freedom, and the kind of moments where you're just sitting there going, wait, I can actually do that? So here's the setup. You're this unlucky soul who's been infected with a mind flayer parasite. And yeah, that's as creepy as it sounds. But instead of turning you into one of those tentacle-faced monsters, it's giving you all these weird powers. The story kicks off with you trying to get rid of it, but of course, things get way more complicated. You meet a ragtag group of companions, all of them dealing with their own issues, and together you're trying to survive in a world that's falling apart. And the way it all unfolds, it's so good. Every dialogue choice, every decision you make feels like it matters, characters, the freedom this game gives you is ridiculous. You can tackle situations however you want, sneak past enemies, sweet talk your way out of a fight, or just set everything on fire and hope for the best. And when I say freedom, I mean freedom. Want to yeet someone off a cliff in the middle of combat? Go for it. Feel like stealing literally everything in a room while someone's talking to you? Totally possible. It's based on D&D rules, so you're rolling dice for skill checks, which keeps things unpredictable and adds this layer of tension to every choice. The companions are a huge highlight. They're not just there to help in combat, they're full-on characters with backstories, goals, and honestly a lot of baggage. You've got Astarion, this snarky vampire rogue, Shadowheart, a mysterious cleric who's clearly hiding something, Lae'zel, a fierce warrior who doesn't take crap from anyone, and so many more. They'll react to what you do, sometimes approving or straight up hating your choices. You might even find yourself arguing with them, or romancing them if you play your cards right. Combat is turn-based and super tactical. It's not just about hitting stuff. You've got to think about positioning, spells, and terrain. Like, you can shove enemies into pits, light oil on fire, or use the environment in all kinds of clever ways. It's one of those systems where every fight feels different and it's just so satisfying when your plan works perfectly, or hilariously backfires. And oh man, the world. It's massive, full of secrets, and absolutely gorgeous. You've got dungeons, sprawling cities, eerie forests. It's all so detailed. Everywhere you go, there's something to discover, whether it's a hidden treasure, a weird NPC with a crazy backstory, or a decision that totally changes the game. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Alright, so Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's like stepping into a blockbuster movie, but you get to control the action. You're Cloud, this ex-soldier with a giant sword and a ton of emotional baggage, and you're thrown into this gritty industrial city called Midgar. Shinra, this corrupt company, is sucking the life out of the planet, literally, and you're part of this scrappy resistance group trying to stop them. Simple setup, right? But it gets deep fast. The thing about this game is how much heart it has. The characters feel so real, like people you'd actually want to hang out with or protect at all costs. Cloud's all moody and distant at first, but you see these little cracks where his emotions peek through. Then there's Tifa, who's strong and supportive, but clearly wrestling with her own fears. Barrett's loud and over the top, but he's got this softer side when it comes to his daughter. And Aerith, oh man, she's this mix of sweet and tough. You just know she's hiding something big. The combat is, well, again, it's not your typical RPG. It's fast and flashy, but you also have to pause and think about what to do next, like whether to heal, use magic, or go all out with a crazy special move. It's a mix of action and strategy, and it feels so good when you pull off a perfect combo. And the bosses, they're huge, over-the-top battles where you're constantly on your toes.
Avalanche ain't Buta or anybody.
But what really makes this game stand out is how it's not just a remake, it's a reimagining. They took the story you thought you knew and gave it new layers, new mysteries, and moments that hit even harder than before. It's like it respects the original but isn't afraid to take risks. If you want a game that's full of epic moments, unforgettable characters, and a world you'll actually want to get lost in, this is it. Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't just a nostalgia trip, it's a whole new journey, and it's absolutely worth the ride. Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas is the kind of game that makes you feel like you're in total control of your story. It's set in a post-apocalyptic desert wasteland. Think dusty roads, weird towns, and factions that all want a piece of the action. You're a courier who gets shot in the head and left for dead, but you survive and set off to figure out who did it and why. From there, the world just opens up. What makes this game so special is the freedom it gives you. Every decision you make matters. You can side with the big factions like the New California Republic, who want order but can be kind of shady, or Caesar's Legion, basically slavers who think they're Roman soldiers, or you can just say, screw it, and carve your own path. It's all up to you. And the choices? They're not easy. Sometimes there's no good or bad answer, just what feels right for your version of the story.
Praetorians, to me! Damn you! I knew that.
Combat is what you'd expect from a Fallout game. First-person shooting with RPG mechanics layered in. It's clunky sometimes, but it's fun, especially when you use the VAT system to slow down time and line up crazy shots. Want to take out a mutant's head from across the map? Go for it. But what really stands out though is the writing. The quests are clever, full of twists, and often way deeper than they first seem. Like one minute you're just delivering a package, and the next you're deciding the fate of an entire town. The humor is dark, and the world has this dry, sarcastic tone that makes even the bleakest moments weirdly fun. Persona 5. Persona 5 is one of those games that just oozes style and makes you feel like you're part of something way cooler than you actually are. It's an RPG, sure, but it's also this crazy mix of high school life, psychological drama, and over-the-top anime-style action. You play as a high schooler who's been sent to Tokyo on probation, long story, but you end up leading a double life as the leader of a group called the Phantom Thief. Basically, you and your crew dive into these surreal worlds called palaces to steal the twisted desires of corrupt people and force them to change their ways. It's wild. The gameplay is split into two parts, your daily life and the dungeon crawling stuff. During the day, you're a regular student, going to class, hanging out with friends, getting part-time jobs, and doing all this normal stuff that somehow doesn't feel boring at all. Building relationships with your friends called confidants is actually really rewarding. It's not just fluff, it affects your abilities in the dungeon sections and makes you care about the people around you.
The shadows are ready to kill.
And then there's the combat, which is turn-based but somehow feels super fast and exciting. You use personas, basically these creatures that represent your inner self, to unleash all kinds of crazy moves. The one more system, where you get another turn for hitting an enemy's weakness, makes every fight feel like a puzzle you're solving on the fly, plus the all-out attacks, so satisfying every single time. What really sets this game apart though is how it looks and sounds. The art style is bold, colorful, and stylish as hell. The menus are animated, the transitions are flashy, even the smallest details scream personality, and the soundtrack, absolute bangers. It's funky, jazzy, and you'll probably catch yourself humming the battle theme weeks after you're done playing. Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 is one of those games that makes you feel like a true badass commander while also stressing you out about every decision you make. It's the middle chapter of the Mass Effect trilogy, and honestly, it's where everything just clicks. If you're into RPGs with great characters and tough choices, this one's a must-play. You're Commander Shepard, freshly resurrected by a shadowy organization called Cerberus. Long story. The galaxy is under threat from these creepy aliens called the Collectors, who are abducting entire human colonies. Your mission? Build the ultimate team, go on a crazy suicide mission, and somehow keep everyone alive. No pressure, right? The squad is everything in this game. You've got an amazing crew, from Garrus, your sniper bro who's still cool as hell, to Mordin, the fast-talking scientist who somehow manages to be hilarious and heartbreaking. Then there's Jack, a total wild card with a lot of emotional baggage, and so many others. Every character has a deep backstory, and getting to know them feels like hanging out with actual people. Plus, their loyalty missions, some of the best storytelling in the game.
Thank you, Legion. I understand your intent.
The combat is way better than the first game. It's faster, smoother, and just more fun. You can take cover, use crazy biotic powers, and command your squad to do cool stuff in battle. It's still an RPG, so you can level up, upgrade weapons, and customize your abilities, but it's all streamlined in a way that feels super satisfying. The choices in this game, ooh man, they'll mess with you. Do you save the colony or sacrifice it for the bigger picture? Do you trust Cerberus or keep them at arm's length? Every decision feels important, and it all leads to that final mission where the stakes are through the roof. People can die, your team, innocent bystanders, maybe even you. And the way the game handles all this, it's brilliant. It's not just about what happens in this game, it's about how your choices will ripple into Mass Effect 3. Even if you've never played the first Mass Effect, you can jump into this one and still enjoy it, but if you've carried over your choices from the first game, oh boy, it hits even harder. Mass Effect 2 isn't just a game, it's an experience that stays with you, whether it's the story, the characters, or that edge of your seat final mission. It's one of the best RPGs ever made. Simple as that. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines throws you into a dark, gritty version of Los Angeles where vampires secretly run the show. You're newly turned and forced into this hidden world full of politics, betrayal, and strange characters. It's all about surviving, making alliances, and figuring out where you fit in this chaotic vampire society. The game lets you pick a vampire clan, and that choice changes everything. If you're charming, you can talk your way through problems. If you're a brute, you can smash your way forward. If you're Nosferatu, you're so creepy you have to stick to the shadows. The world reacts to you in ways that feel natural, which makes every playthrough feel different. The quests are where the game shines. They're weird, unpredictable, and often a little creepy. One moment you're exploring a haunted mansion, and the next you're sneaking through sewers to avoid being spotted. There's always something memorable around the corner. The combat and controls can be a little clunky, but the storytelling, atmosphere, and freedom to play your way more than make up for it. The game's dark streets, neon-lit clubs, and eerie music create a vibe you won't forget. It's not perfect, it had bugs when it launched, but fan patches fix most of that. If you're into RPGs that focus on story, choices, and a really unique setting, this one's worth a shot. Just don't expect it to hold your hand. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic is one of the best RPGs ever made, hands down. It's set thousands of years before the movies, so it's this fresh take on the Star Wars universe without relying on Luke, Vader, or any of that. You're just dropped into a galaxy torn apart by war where Jedi and Sith are duking it out, and you're caught in the middle of it. You start as a blank slate, a regular soldier or scoundrel, but as the story unfolds, you discover there's way more to your character. The choices you make, whether to follow the light side or give in to the dark side, shape how people react to you and where the story goes. And trust me, the story is incredible, with twists that'll blow your mind. The companions are a big part of what makes this game so good. You've got a snarky assassin droid, a Wookiee with a dark backstory, and a Jedi mentor who's not as perfect as she seems. They all have their own personalities and stories, and the way they interact with you and each other feels so real.
Stop. If he conquers the galaxy, we're in for a couple of...
Combat is turn-based but still feels exciting. You can customize your character with force powers, lightsabers, blasters, whatever suits your playstyle. The force powers are especially fun because, let's be real, who doesn't want to toss enemies across the room? The world building is top-notch too. You visit iconic Star Wars locations like Tatooine, but also explore new ones like the water planet Manan or the dark Sith world of Korriban. Each place feels distinct with its own stories, cultures, and conflicts. The Undertale. Undertale is one of those games that feels small and simple at first, but it hits way harder than you'd expect. You're this little kid who falls into the underground, a world full of quirky monsters, and your goal is to make it out. But the twist? You don't have to fight anyone. You can talk, flirt, or even make friends with your enemies instead. The gameplay is super unique. It's kind of like an old school RPG, but when you're in a fight, it switches to this bullet hell minigame where you dodge attacks. It's weird but fun, and every battle feels different because the monsters all have their own personalities and attack. The real magic, though, is in the story and the choices you make. The game remembers what you do, like everything. Whether you spare or kill someone changes how the world reacts to you, and let's just say if you take the wrong path, the game makes you feel it hard. But if you're kind, the story becomes something really heartfelt and uplifting. The characters are unforgettable. There's Papyrus, this goofy skeleton who's trying way too hard to be cool, Sans, his chill, pun-loving brother, and Undyne, this fierce warrior who's way tougher than she looks. Everyone is weird, funny, and strangely relatable. Suikoden 2. In Suikoden 2, the story revolves around two childhood friends, Ryo and Joey, who get caught in the middle of a brutal war between kingdoms. What makes it so special is how personal it feels. It's not just about saving the world, it's about betrayal, loyalty, and the tough choices you make along the way. The emotional beats hit hard, especially with the dynamic between Ryo and Joey as their paths start to split. One of the coolest things is how big and alive the world feels. You can recruit over 100 characters to your army, yep, 100, and they're not just random filler. Each one has their own little backstory and personality. Some join right away, others take a bit of convincing, and seeing your castle grow as you bring more people in is so satisfying. Combat is straightforward but fun, it's turn-based, and you can bring 6 characters into battle at once. Plus, there are these special unite attacks where certain characters can team up for powerful moves. There are also big army battles and one-on-one duels that mix things up and make the stakes feel even higher. The visuals are classic 2D sprite art, and they've aged so well. The game looks vibrant and detailed, especially for something from the PlayStation era, and the music? Absolute perfection. It sets the tone for every moment, whether it's a quiet emotional scene or a big epic battle. It's not just a game about war, it's a game about people, their struggles, their bonds, and what happens when ideals clash. If you love RPGs with meaningful stories and unforgettable characters, Suikoden 2 is a must play. It's one of those hidden gems that deserves all the love it gets. The EarthBound. EarthBound is one of the quirkiest and most charming RPGs you'll ever play. It's not about knights, dragons, or saving some mystical kingdom. It's about a group of kids saving the world from an alien threat. But instead of castles and swords, you're exploring modern towns, battling weird enemies like evil hippies and possessed stop signs, and using baseball bats and yo-yos as weapons. You play as Ness, a kid from a quiet town who's suddenly told by a bee from the future, yeah, it's that kind of game, that he's destined to save the world. Along the way, you team up with a genius inventor, a psychic girl, and a kid with a bazooka. The story feels lighthearted most of the time, but it sneaks in these surprisingly deep and emotional moments that hit hard. The combat is pretty classic turn-based RPG stuff, but with a twist. Instead of swords and spells, you're using things like frying pans and bottle rockets. There's also this cool rolling health system where your HP ticks down instead of dropping instantly, so you can save yourself in clutch moments if you're fast enough. The world is what really makes it stand out. It's full of humor, weirdness, and little surprises. Towns have quirky NPCs who say the most random things, and every area feels like it's got its own personality. You're not just traveling through generic forests and caves, you're exploring a department store, a haunted mall, and even a bizarre alien landscape. EarthBound doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's what makes it so special. It's funny, weird, and packed with charm, but it also has this heartwarming vibe that keeps you hooked. If you want an RPG that feels totally different from anything else, this one's worth a shot. It's a game that just sticks with you in the best way. Divinity Original Sin 2. Divinity Original Sin 2 is like stepping into a giant living tabletop RPG. It gives you so much freedom that it almost feels overwhelming at first, but once you get the hang of it, you're hooked. You start as a Sourcer, a magic user who's been imprisoned for their powers, and you're tossed into a world where everyone seems to have their own agenda. From there, it's up to you how things play out. What sets this game apart is how much choice you have. You can create your own custom character or pick one of the pre-made ones, each with their own backstory and personal goals. These origin characters are super detailed, like Losi, who's dealing with a literal demon inside her, or Beast, a dwarf with a grudge against a mad queen. If you pick one, you'll experience their story firsthand, but if you don't, they can join your party, so you still get to know them. The combat is turn-based and it's a total brain workout. Positioning matters, the environment matters, and your skills matter. You can set the ground on fire, electrify puddles, or even poison your enemies, then use those effects to your advantage. Every fight feels like a puzzle, and it's so satisfying when your strategy works. Exploration is just as good. The world is packed with secrets, hidden quests, and weird little interactions. You might talk to a skeleton who's obsessed with fashion, or help a dog that just wants to save its master. Oh, and you can talk to animals if you have the right skill. It's hilarious and surprisingly useful. The writing is top-notch too, with a mix of humor, drama, and plenty of morally great choices. You'll often stop to think, am I really doing the right thing here? And the best part, you can play the whole game in co-op, which makes the chaotic decisions even more fun when you're arguing with friends about what to do next. It's a big, dense game that can take a while to get through, but every moment feels worth it. If you love RPGs that give you freedom to experiment and a world that reacts to what you do, Divinity Original Sin 2 is one of the best out there. It's clever, challenging, and full of surprises. Gothic 2.
Know what fate.
Gothic is set in a gritty medieval world where everything feels dangerous and you're just a regular guy trying to survive and find your place in it. No chosen one nonsense, just you, a big world, and a lot of tough decisions. The story picks up after the first game, but you don't need to have played it to enjoy this one. You're a nameless hero recovering from the events of the first game, and you're thrown into a new crisis involving dragons, magic, and warring factions. The game doesn't force you down a set path. You can join different groups like the militia, the mercenaries, or the fire mages, and each one has its own vibe and storylines. Your choices actually matter and change how things play out. The world is the real star here. It's not massive by today's standards, but it's packed with detail. Every corner has something to find, whether it's hidden loot, a dangerous monster, or a side quest. NPCs feel alive too. They have routines, react to what you do, and won't hesitate to tell you off if you're being a jerk or straight up attack you.
With the help of the soldiers and the magicians who live around here.
Combat is challenging but satisfying once you get the hang of it. It's all about timing and positioning, and in the early game, even fighting a wolf can feel like a life or death situation, but as you get stronger, you really feel the progress, and it's so satisfying to come back and wreck enemies that used to destroy you. The atmosphere is incredible, with a gritty, grounded feel that makes the world seem real. The music adds to it, switching between calm and tense depending on where you are, and it nails the medieval vibe perfectly. If you like RPGs that challenge you and make you work for every victory, Gothic 2 is an absolute gem. It's rough around the edges, but that's part of its charm. It's the kind of game where you feel like you've earned every bit of progress, and that makes it unforgettable.
He is destined to be a hero.
The Thaumaturge.
Was someone killed?
The Thaumaturge is set in 1905 Warsaw, but it's not just a historical game. It mixes real-world history with magic and mystery. You play as a Thaumaturge, a person with the rare ability to see and control magical beings called Salators. These creatures aren't just mindless tools, they're strange, otherworldly beings with their own personalities, and figuring out how to use them effectively is a big part of the game. The story revolves around a city filled with conflict. Warsaw is torn between different cultures, classes, and political tensions, and you're stuck right in the middle of it all. Your choices shape how people react to you, and there's rarely a clear, good or bad option. It's the kind of game where every decision feels heavy, and the consequences can come back to haunt you in unexpected ways. The combat is turn-based, but it's not just about attacking and defending. You can use your Salators to manipulate enemies, control the battlefield, and find clever ways to win. Each fight feels like a puzzle where you have to think ahead, experiment, and figure out the best strategy. It's a nice mix of challenge and creativity. The world itself is dark and atmospheric. Warsaw feels alive, with busy streets, shady back alleys, and characters who all seem to have their own problems and stories. There's a lot of talking and investigating, and it's through these moments that you uncover more about the world, the magic, and the people around you. The mix of history and supernatural elements gives the game a unique feel that you don't see very often. If you're looking for an RPG that focuses on story, tough choices, and a bit of magic, the Thaumaturge is worth checking out. It's not an action-packed game, it's slower and more thoughtful, but it's full of mystery, depth, and a world that really pulls you in. It's the kind of game that keeps you thinking about your choices even after you stop playing.
Now our journey is really beginning. Just remember.
Show me what you got. What you got there? What you got, huh? Show me what you got.